And we are live, back with another video. But before we get into all that, I want my platform to help other local people around here, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing it for a little bit now. You're gonna try and do a new intro video for each podcast at least. So, as always, the Phoenix House of Domestic and Sexual Abuse. If you or anybody you know is a victim of sexual or domestic abuse, don't hesitate to go up to 221 East Green Acres or call their 24/7 hotline at 575-942-1911. And this was started by one of my friends. It's a bunch of volunteer nurses. So if you want to donate to help, if you want to volunteer your time, don't hesitate, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a good thing that they're doing. I think we should all support it. Also got some hair people, you know what I'm saying? If you need a haircut, you're looking to get braided up, go check out these people. Fernando Montes, been mentioning him since the beginning. He's been on here all the time, you know. I'm gonna put some of their work up here, you know what I'm saying? But or this way, or down, I don't know. I'm gonna put it somewhere. But if you want to set up an appointment, go to nandothebarber1.booksy.com. That's nandothebarber1.booksy.com. I believe if you mention this podcast or Hi Mom, Hi Dad at all, then you'll get $5 off your first haircut. So go check him out. Also, Ray the Barber. Put some of his stuff somewhere. Go same place, booksy.com, but I think it's raythebarber.booksy.com. Go set his up. I don't believe he's running a special or anything, but still he does some amazing work, so why not? For you ladies out there that's looking to get your wig split, you know, your shit did up, if you live in the West Texas, Lubbock / area, go to Zalay Weatherall. She does require a $25 deposit. Put some of her work up, but if you want to see more of what she does, go to @zbrada. Only serious people, only if you're really looking to get your hair done, text the number 806-577-9318. Really go check it out. She's getting mad talented as a braider. She's been doing it for like 2-3 years now. I think she's getting her own share. So go check her out. Entrepreneurs here, Isaiah Science. He does wristwatches and shades and stuff like that. Go to icticstyles.com, and I'll put some of his stuff right here. That's icticstyles.com, and I'll put the website on the video too. EJ Robertson, Self-Made Bosses. Go get your t-shirt. He's selling them for $15. I believe they also do music too, so go check out their music. I'll put some of their content right here, you know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure he wants to come on the podcast, so stay tuned for that interview. Gregory Brooks, always mentioning Greg. Got mad love for Greg. He hasn't really been active as of late, but he's grinding right now, you know what I'm saying? Go check out his previous work, whether it's his music, his skits, his dance videos. Always doing stuff. The CEO of Growing Love LLC right there. I just did an interview with him, so you'll get to see him. And also this person, Marquise Wiggins. He was also on the interview with Greg, but he's also an up-and-coming guy out of the same place I am. He does dance videos, motivational speeches, and stuff like that. He's a very interesting guy. I want to get just a one-on-one podcast with him, but I'll put some of his stuff right here. Shout out to Hobbs as a place, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think coming up, everybody always looked up to the East Coast or the West Coast or the South, the Midwest or whatever, but people don't even know New Mexico is part of the United States. And I think we got mad talent, we got mad creative people, we just got cool people around here, and I think it's like a voice that needs to be heard. So support your people. I support y'all, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the work that y'all are putting out here, and I'm telling you to keep doing it. But let's get into this podcast, guys. Fucking We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up?
We're live with another episode of NPR. I have my guest with me here today. Welcome to another episode, guys. This is going to be episode like 16, I believe, yeah. Because I just recorded another one the other day. But how are you, man?
I'm good.
Oh, yeah, welcome my guest, Steven. How do you say your last name again?
Hogue.
Stephen Hogue. Welcome my guest, Stephen Hogue, the great and powerful. Stephen Hogue. How you been, man?
Oh, I've been good. How about you?
I'm just chilling, man. Just going to work, trying to get some workouts in, being a dad, doing this podcast, man.
Yeah.
What you been up to? You just work?
Just working, man.
Yeah?
Working while I can. Yeah.
What is your, off days like now?
Pretty much, I work 5 and then I get 1 off, then I'll work 5 and then I'll get 2.
Golly.
Yeah.
5 on and then 1 off, 5 on, 2 off.
And it goes like that for pretty much eternity until I put in a leave request.
Golly. I mean, it's got to be... What's your work day like? Is it real stressful at work?
Yeah, it's typically a 16-hour day.
Yeah, okay, here. Just take me through a normal day of work for you. So you wake up at what time you wake up?
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cake right there.
Yeah. And then I'll drive down to Deja to go to work.
Okay, so you wake up at 10 and then you drive an hour?
Yeah. Not that far, about 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Mm. And then you get on location and then...
Yeah, I get to the yard and I get a truck and take off, start working.
Do you have to drive out to another location after you get your truck?
Yeah, it just depends on where they send me, where dispatch sends me.
Oh, man. Yeah. So it always varies. Sometimes you got to drive 2 hours, sometimes you got to drive 15 minutes.
Exactly. Sometimes it's that exact.
How long do your jobs last usually?
Oh, man. The jobs, well, it just depends. I mean, pretty much it's always going. Because we just pick up oil from different wells. Mm. But it never stops.
It's always going. It's a machine. It's just always... There's always more to do. That's how it is with Coke. I mean... Yeah. They're never going to run out of Coke to give.
Yeah. What are you doing over there?
I just pull up on site to the...
yeah.
But I get there at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So I get to the store... And my truck usually gets there about an hour after I get there. I get there so I can fill up the coolers and monsters and stuff like that, little stuff. And then my truck gets there, I work out my truck, go to the next store.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta come back to a store.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Golly. I don't know what that... You hear that echo? I'm always hearing that.
Yeah, we don't have the headphones on.
Yeah, no, I want to get one of these that you could put multiple headsets in, because I feel like people would stay more engaged with the conversation if that's all you hear is the conversation.
Yeah.
You're not worried about what's going on outside and everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's quite the mixing board right there.
Yeah, I mean...
That's nice.
Hendrix is always getting up here and messing with things, so sometimes, I'll notice, something's not where I left it the last time.
Yeah.
But it's pretty nice, yeah. It comes in real handy. But, shit... Tell me some, we're always getting into conspiracies, man. So every time we get in, almost every time me and him start talking about conspiracies, we got to go somewhere, we got to focus on doing something, and we can't really talk about conspiracy. So tell me a conspiracy that either you've recently learned or you're just digging right now.
I used to really, really be into the Federal Reserve conspiracy.
Yeah?
But, I don't know so much anymore, but yeah, I used to really around 2012. I went down the rabbit hole. The last time
I read up on the Federal Reserve, I just know that they don't. It was a group of banks that gang together whenever the Great Depression was happening. Yeah. So the successful banks grouped together to make a private bank.
Yeah, in 1914, I think it was Woodrow Wilson was the president, I believe.
In 1914? I don't know. I need to get me on the Joe Rogan podcast. Jamie, look that up for me.
Yeah.
I need to get a tech guy up here.
Yeah, somebody to just handle it.
A standby, hey, yeah, it was 1914. Good job.
Well, the Federal Reserve Act passed, and they basically, that's when the IRS came online, and that's when they basically said, we're going to have a central bank. And the American people were very skeptical of it. They didn't want it.
Yeah.
And basically what it boils down to, you have a Federal Reserve that can print pretty much an unlimited amount of money.
Yeah, they don't have to have any gold or anything to back up what they print off.
They used to, and that's how they sold it to the American people back in 1914. They got
before the Great Depression. You had to have gold to back up the currency you printed off.
Richard Nixon took us off that in 1971, took us off the gold standard. And what a lot of people don't realize is we switched from a gold standard to the dollar being backed by petroleum. That's what a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
They just think they're printing the money, and the only reason they're getting away with it is because of that we're tied to petroleum. And it's been that way. That's why Saudi Arabia is like the 51st state. It's not Puerto Rico, it's Saudi Arabia. They're the most protected people by the United States. As a matter of fact, right now we're in Iran almost. We're about to light them up. So what's today's date? The
27th?
27th, yeah. We've got a whole system of destroyers and an aircraft carrier parked right off the coast of Iran right now.
Yeah, I think this war was made to... it was never meant to be won. It was just to be continuous.
Yeah.
Because that's what our economy seems to thrive on is wartime.
Yeah.
I think we've only been out of war our whole existence like 30 years maybe. Yeah. All of it together, like all the in-between times.
Yep.
I think I added up, because today's Memorial Day, so right. I added up like all the accounted for deaths, like from the time of us starting out as a country till now. Yeah. And it's like 1.2 million, I think. Yeah. That's how many lives have been lost during the war.
Yeah. And it is true. It's sad.
Yeah, go ahead. You can get him. Yeah, you can get him.
Well, what's sad is that, you know, a lot of the people that I work with that are owner-operators, they love the industry when we do have war because the price of oil goes up. Yeah. And it's directly tied to the dollar. Yeah.
And you could see, like, they really push, what is it called? Military and everything to these branching off companies, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, we're at war for oil right now. So you look at the average oil field person. Yeah. They kind of fit a certain
military industrial
stereotype.
Complex.
Yeah.
It's exactly what. Yeah, I'm probably one of the few that doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them just don't ask questions, but I understand because the way that our schooling system's made, it's not made to make thinking people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't teach people how to think, it teaches them what to think. So yeah, you could see why people come off with, they already have these strong opinions about things. Yeah. Like, when they're 16, 17, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you don't really... You've been in this little echo chamber of people around you that think just like you do. And then whenever you start... I don't know, the internet kind of broke that down because it connects everybody. So now you get to... There's no reason to be in an echo chamber anymore, really.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so if you could just think differently or just hear out other people, you'd be surprised, like, all the truths that you find within everything. Yep. And it teaches you how to think about things. Sure. Rationally, too.
Yeah, our school system is heavily manipulated by our government. Yeah. And it's a joke. You know, you come out of the school system thinking that you have to get a job, you have to go to college, and then...
They really sell you on that college.
Yeah, and it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Go to college and get brainwashed, essentially. You're going to come out of that... Unless you're going to be something like a doctor, an engineer, and you actually need higher mathematics, physics, things of that nature, anatomy and physiology. If that's your goal, of course you're going to need college.
Yeah, there's going to be jobs there for you too.
College originally was designed for people with really high IQs. Mm-hmm. That's what college was for. Now they've pushed it to the point where everybody should.
Yeah, in the 50s you could be like a grocery store manager, and your wife could stay home. Sure. And then y'all could afford a house, and then send 3 kids to buy them cars and everything. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Like, our money just doesn't get us this far anymore.
No, not even close. And that gets back to the Federal Reserve.
Yep.
The reason our money doesn't get us anything anymore is because inflation it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I think right now the dollar is worth 4 cents compared to what it was worth in 1913 before the Federal Reserve Act. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I said 1914 in the first place, but I think it's 1913. I don't have a way to check it.
It's a toss-up. You know?
Yeah, but dude, yeah,
Spin hairs.
It's that alone, the way that they work. They're a private entity.
Yeah, their own entity.
Nobody really knows. You're not allowed to audit them. Nobody really knows who these people really are. I mean, we kind of know, but we don't really know officially. And the way that it works is they print a dollar. And then our government has to basically loan the money. They have to loan the money from them. They have to borrow it from the Federal Reserve at interest. So the money comes from them into our banking system, and the government is purchasing it at interest. The second it hits our banking system, it's already dead. Yeah. It's already dead.
It's basically no money, yeah.
Total scam, dude.
Oh, yeah, it's a scam, like, whenever you're the person who gets to create the system, of course you're going to make it to where you're winning all the time, no matter what. And you're gonna put in, like, systems that trap other entities, you know what I'm saying?
That's what it is.
That's what it feels like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because... I mean, once we switched over to, like, money as, like, currency, I mean, people used to use the barter system all the time, you know. Sure. They would just trade resources, and then they made money the main resource.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people who own all the money also made the systems in which money can flow and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And if they're the ones creating money and then giving it away for a profit...
Exactly. And
that doesn't make sense, right?
And it's not just our government, it's the governments around the world.
Yeah.
They all have Federal Reserve systems or some type of central banking system.
Except for, like, North Korea. It used to be Afghanistan, and Iraq.
And Iran.
All those countries. And then we go in. Yep. We go in, dismantle the government or whatever.
We knock them off and force them to come on too.
And then take the oil anyways, just because they were like, we're not going to sell to you.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up, right?
It's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. And then, like, they get young children that have been, say you grew up in these oil-filled families or these Bible Belt families where it's pushed that you're a hero to go into these places and do this. So, and then you get there and then, you know, you see what you're doing. Yeah. I feel like a lot of them, like a lot of vets kind of figure it out, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they kind of see between the lines.
Yeah, whenever you finally see what's happening and how things really work, I know a lot of them know, you know. Yeah. They have to.
Dude.
But the ones that are here, they don't know. They only see what the media allows them to see.
Dude, so our country's just right at $23 trillion in debt. And that doesn't include the...
It's gone down since Trump's been in, though, hasn't it?
The rate at which we accumulate it has come down.
Yeah.
The actual rate...
The debt hasn't gone down anything.
That's known as the deficit.
Yeah.
The rate at which we accumulate debt. But the debt itself is still ticking. You can go... There's a website that shows a national debt clock, and it shows it just... You know.
Yeah, like deaths and births.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? Man, oh my God. I think there's we're at like 100,000 people to every person that dies. That's how many people are born compared to one person.
Whoa.
I posted that on Facebook. I was like, this is why I really don't care if people are getting abortions, you know what I'm saying? If you get pregnant and you're like, I don't want this baby.
Yeah.
Like, good, because the ones that are having babies, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're pretty good on that. Eventually, like the way the climate's been changing and everything, I feel like we're going to run out of food eventually. I don't know why I feel like that. I feel like it's a possibility because places are going to be uninhabitable.
Yeah.
And the way that we do food is what's ruining the climate, like factory farming and everything.
Sure.
It's not even really the fact that we use natural gases or whatever. Like, that plays a big part in shipping these animals around and everything, but
yeah.
I think actually keeping, like, cows on a large scale, they produce, like, their own little...
methane.
Yeah, exactly, and it's crazy.
Yep.
But...
Well, I was telling Casey the other day that I was listening to this podcast about how the weather has been so fucked up this year, and that we broke records. It was 50 below or something like that in Chicago. And
yeah, it was. Yeah,
super fucking cold,
cold,
dude.
Man.
Cold. It's May, and in order to grow corn, you had to have already put it in 4.5 weeks ago, going on 5 weeks ago. It's too late for corn crops this year because the Midwest, from Pueblo, Colorado, all the way across to the East Coast, it's been too cold. It's been frozen. Pueblo hit. They got 6 inches of snow like a week ago, dude.
Man.
That's not normal.
No.
That's really screwed up.
And it's really just because, like, have you seen how much the ocean temperatures have raised? I think it's like a degree or two.
Yeah.
And you just see these small little changes.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a conveyor belt, too, that runs from the Atlantic up to Greenland and then back down. And the salinity of the water, as more of the glaciers melt and you get more of that water, fresh water in, the salinity changes, and that belt brings colder and colder temperatures up. So that affects, I'm not explaining it all the way right, but that affects the temperature. Yeah. So as global warming kicks in, what ends up happening is things cool off as a result. Yeah. Because it's global warming's melting the glaciers, right? But then this conveyor belt that runs basically the world's
like
temperature.
What
it's in the
Are you
ocean.
talking about like the currents?
Yeah.
How the currents move everything?
That's exactly what
I've also seen like I was watching how dust storms in like Africa blow over and then get all the way in like Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And then like help with the blooming of a lot of that stuff.
Dude, they can bring locusts from one continent to another. Mm-hmm. They can bring all like you're saying, like spores and all kinds of stuff, dude.
It's weird how the planet already has this natural cycle. Mm-hmm. And it's I feel like a lot of people just don't understand like that the world does a lot of this stuff. Yeah. So they look at they just look at the weather. They're like, it doesn't seem that different, even though they know it could be like 3% warmer than it was last year. Like, you're probably not going to recognize it that much, but if it's rising by 3% each year, over time you're going to notice the effects. And what happens whenever places you can't live there anymore? Yeah. What happens when the whole world you have to live underground or something? Yeah. What do we do for food? What do we? Because we don't have the technology to go anywhere else right now. And they say if we don't do anything by 2030, then the Earth can't bounce back by itself. Like, just doing little things that like clean up the fucking ocean.
Well, things seem to be cyclical as far as like civilization. Typically, I think we have about a 5,000 year run where if we don't get it right, nature corrects itself. Yeah. How that happens, we don't fucking have any clue. We just have little tidbits, little shreds.
It's like
of
every time civilization starts coming up, they have to overcome something.
It's like a rare flower that blooms every now and then. Mm-hmm. You know, but if we don't get it right,
maybe it's like nature's test or something.
It could be. Who knows? Maybe the planet has a way to put off some kind of a signal to bring in an asteroid. Yeah. We have no fucking idea.
Yeah, we don't really.
The planet's that's
an interesting idea.
Well, it's a living organism.
It really is, yeah. Mm-hmm. If you watch a time lapse of it, it looks like it's breathing and all the seasons it goes through and changes it goes through. It's like it's moving all the time.
When it's ready, it resets society.
Yeah, you think if one organism starts to get too powerful,
which is us.
Yeah. Mm. If it gets too powerful and like starts doing unnecessary shit, the world's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna make it to where this organism can't live.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something.
Or do they turn into like, how do we know like Mars didn't have life and Venus didn't have life?
We don't.
Exactly.
We know that there are craters and there are riverbeds. And there's actually water contained in ice of the polar caps of Mars, but it looks like there was flowing water across the surface because you can see it. You can tell. You can tell that there was ancient riverbeds. How old are they? We don't really know.
I know, right? Mars just think about how much time there's been.
Yeah, we have no idea. Maybe we started off there and ended up over here, dude. We don't know. That's
I think that's what happens. I think life, like, because there's organisms that can survive in the vacuum of space, like here on Earth. Mm-hmm. Tardigrades.
Yep.
Absolutely. Little water bears.
Yeah,
they can survive in space.
Sure, they brought
spores can survive in space.
Yeah,
fungus.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Bill Clinton that came out and announced it was like 1998, 99 that they one of the Mars rovers. It was either Destiny. I can't remember. There were two Mars rovers.
Yeah,
over there, Spirit and Destiny, I think, and one of them found the remnants of biological organisms, and they found it in the rock. And Bill Clinton even came out and said, look, we've basically proven that there's life on other planets. Mm-hmm. But it all got pushed to the side. Everyone I think the Monica Lewinsky scandal came out right after that. Dude, I can't remember.
Something always happens.
We're talking 20 years ago. But
something always happens whenever people start speaking a little truth. It seems like something always happens.
Yeah, it gets bumped right off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or they try and destroy you.
Yeah.
They try to destroy your name and your reputation and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's a crazy thing, right? But I feel like they didn't anticipate the internet and the impact the internet could, like how it changes scales.
Yeah.
It kind of puts the power back to the people. Because all information is power.
Exactly, which brings me to cryptocurrencies.
There we go. All right.
And the Federal Reserve, and that is their worst nightmare. And I believe the Trump administration is pushing it.
See, I didn't know that you were into cryptocurrency because of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
I just thought
that's a direct result. It's almost a cause and effect because when the economy crashed in 2008, by 2009, this guy Satoshi Nakamoto, I believe. I'm probably saying his name wrong. This guy from Japan that nobody's ever met, nobody knows, created Bitcoin.
Oh shit! Hold on.
All
right. You were talking about
Bitcoin.
You were talking about, I think, Toshi Yakamori.
Yeah, Satoshi. I think Nakamoto, but I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. But it's something like that. And the guy, as a result of the economic crash in 2008, he created Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can only make so many of them, 13 million. And since you can only make so many of them, you can't print more of them, like what the Federal Reserve's doing, which is why we have inflation and the dollar's value's depreciated so much over time. And that's the brilliance of it. There are other cryptocurrencies out there now that are far superior because it's got its technological issues. There are cryptos out there that have use cases that blow Bitcoin out of the water, specifically XRP. It's so much better. Yeah. But Bitcoin was the original. And Bitcoin became what it is because of that financial crash, because they took a look at the central banks of the world. Japan has one, Russia has one, almost everywhere has one. Almost all countries do.
All the big countries, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's a way to enslave a population and keep them down. That's what it is. And it needs to go. And I think, this is getting back to conspiracies, I think Trump is going to switch our entire economic system because he's a very, very smart dude. I think he's going to look at this and has been looking at this and is going to switch from the current Federal Reserve note to cryptocurrency.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's been having...
You think he would do that even though he's been so successful already in...
Yeah.
Or he already has acquired so much
I think he would do it.
Wealth with the USDA?
The company that pushes XRP is known as Ripple. Ripple's been at the White House pretty much nonstop for the last 6 months.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome of him if he did that.
Well, the liquidation that it would create, the liquidity that it would create to be able to transact money with no banking system and with blockchain technology behind it, it would be incredible. You would free people. Literally, people would be free. That's what would happen because it's transparent. And because of blockchain technology, you can see where the money goes from point A to point B. And because it's XRP, you can transact it in about, I think XRP goes in like 2 or 3 seconds. It's extremely fast. The Federal Reserve, I should say the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia right now is settling all of their settlements in XRP. There's like 50 banks using it so far.
Man.
It's insane. XRP would never have been invented, though, if it wasn't for Bitcoin. And the whole reason Bitcoin got invented was because of the economic crash.
In 2008, yeah.
So that's where it all came from. Now, how is all of this growing? I believe in a very short amount of time, everything's going to be wrapped in cryptos. Everything. It's all going to be blockchain. Everything, dude. It's going to change.
And you think there'll be multiple forms of crypto?
Yep, there already are. There's crypto for contracts. There's crypto for actual money. There's crypto for... I should call them digital assets.
The only thing that would suck, though, if everybody went to cryptocurrency is, say like a solar flare, because we're due for a solar flare or whatever.
Right.
Say we get hit with a solar flare and electronics don't work for like a week or a month or a year or whatever. Yep. What do we do then? How do we...
Same difference would happen right now. All banking is online. Everything's online. If we got hit with a solar flare or a comet came and screwed up...
It's not like even if you had paper money, it would matter.
If you lose power, everybody's effed.
Oh yeah, and you'll start seeing everybody start eating each other too. People are savages.
Dude, there was a study done by the CIA that said if we had an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, or a solar flare, which is basically an EMP, and it shut down power in the United States, how long would people last? People wouldn't last very long. We're talking within 1 year, 90% of the population would be dead. Dude, that's 330 million people that we know of.
People are going to start dying, yeah.
Dude,
and I mean,
no
and it
power.
probably wouldn't be fast either. Not like if it was a disease or whatever.
Yeah.
People are slowly going to start starving.
Precisely.
And then start jacking each other.
Yep.
And you're going to see us revert back to our primal ways. Because
Right.
people like to think of us as above animals,
Yeah.
but no. Whenever your back's against the wall, people do some animalistic things, you know?
Yeah, we're highly sophisticated primates, in my opinion.
And we might bounce back, you know?
Yeah.
Would it just no money, we might figure something else out.
Yeah.
But I highly doubt if there's no power, we're not going to be able to feed everybody. There's too many people right now.
No.
We're not going to be able to feed everybody.
You'd see a mass die off.
Yeah, it would be total savagery for a little bit.
So if we switch to cryptos, it really is the same. Even if our current banking system now, dude, your bank and my bank, everybody's bank gets hacked probably 30 times a day. It gets hit with hacks constantly. So people are like, well, can't crypto get hacked? Not very easily. No one's figured out how to actually break blockchain.
Yeah.
That's why it's a blockchain. It's extremely hard to hack. It's very hard. You can hack exchanges where money is kept.
Yeah.
People are hacking those, but it's really hard to hack the actual currency itself. It's damn near impossible. I'm sure it'll be figured out eventually, but like I said, your bank gets hacked and my bank gets hacked every day, numerous times.
Man.
Numerous times, dude. So if we use the whole, like, if power went out, it's the same difference. Same thing with hackability.
But
what's
just the cryptocurrency seems more efficient than the system we're already using.
It's not only more efficient, it's 1,000 times more efficient. Maybe more, maybe 10,000 times.
And imagine how, like, just say we accept like that, and then we just keep trying to make it better.
Yeah.
Imagine where we could get. I hate that, like, the complacency of how everything is right now. Like, just because systems work okay, that we should keep them that way and not work towards perfecting them. You know what I'm saying? It's such a lazy way, and it's such a shot to what America was founded upon. To me, like, because I felt like everybody left over there to make America, to make something better. You know what I'm saying?
Have a better
and always strive to be better or whatever.
What's funny is when we left England originally, it was to get away from their central banking system.
Yeah, and their taxes and everything.
And their military-industrial complex. And we came over here, and we were this country exploded into wealth because we didn't have any of that taxation. People were free to invent.
Yeah.
They were free to not be taxed. So what they earned, they kept. People bartered, like you had said.
It's too bad, like, there's no more land for people to go, like, just keep moving, you know, because...
this is it.
Yeah.
This is it, unless you want to go off planet.
You just born too late, man, sorry.
Yeah.
For the people who are like, man, I want to get away from here. This place sucks.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah. So it's like, we better fix our problems or else.
Yeah, I mean, we'll fix our problems or... Our kids have got to suffer with it, you know. I mean, if there's no reason to do it other than so they could have it better, you know, and not have to deal with these problems. Why other reason not to do it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, as much as we're into central banking and as much as we're into debt, I was watching a video about the new F-35. And it's not that new. I think it's been out for a while.
F-30, is that a new plane?
Yeah. It's not new, but it's new to the public. The F-22 Raptor was kind of like the bad boy for 10 years, and now they've got the F-35. And it's been out for a while, but you haven't been able to see this thing perform. This thing can practically fly into space. The motherfucker can go so high, it can pretty much hit like 90,000 feet. And it can come up and hover. The thing can hover like a Harrier. It can sit there. It doesn't even need a runway. If it wants to take off, it just goes.
It can just like a drone.
It comes up like a drone turns and just hits the booster and it's gone.
Is that how it hovers? Like drone technology, kind of?
It doesn't have props. It has some kind of a, I don't know what it is, dude. It's probably top secret. But the thing pops open, and I was watching it on YouTube last night, and I was like, oh my god! I sent the link to my kid. I was like, you gotta see this shit.
Let me find out they're using vibranium.
Dude, it is crazy. It's crazy. And these planes, I think, run like 50 million a pop.
Jesus!
But they're all stealth out, and nobody really knows how fast they go. Nobody knows their actual depths and dimensions.
Yeah.
Except
imagine if we, instead of spending this money on like militarization of vehicles, like we spent it on space exploration and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know why we've chosen to focus on war and destruction as our main points of income instead of like it used to be exploring things and figuring shit out.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they found something on the moon, and it could have been, maybe it was aliens, and they told them, y'all need to chill out.
Could be,
because y'all don't run shit around here.
Yeah.
So you better stay the fuck down there, or you can just go through us.
Yeah.
Like, we run shit out here.
Could be.
And then I feel like that's why we haven't been back. Like, why don't we go back? But I know, like, our space exploration program has been, it's nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Since the Cold War ended, it's nothing, so.
It could be. A lot of people don't realize this about the moon. The moon, like the Earth spins.
Yeah, people don't know that they only see one side of the moon.
That's it.
A lot of people don't know that.
That's it. You never, the moon doesn't spin. It's tethered in place. So the dark side of the moon, it stays dark constantly.
Not constantly, because it gets as many light days, because on the new moon days, the sun will shine on the back.
Oh, okay.
Even where you can't see the moon because it's shadowed.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, bro.
So the dark side of the moon
it does get light. So it gets as many light days as it does dark days.
I guess just from our perception, it seems as though
it's just something we never see. We've never seen it. No.
That's wild. So who knows what they found? Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's
man.
the thing. We don't know.
Mm-mm.
There was a guy named Mark. I can't remember his last name. This guy basically found a pyramid on Mars, what appears to be a pyramid.
Yeah.
And a sphinx.
And a sphinx?
Yeah.
I thought I heard about the pyramid, but not the sphinx.
There's supposedly a sphinx and a pyramid sitting side by side, and this is a big bastard. This is a 5-6 story tall pyramid. It's huge. It's huge. It's monstrous. And this other guy was doing math, and he basically charted from the pyramids of Giza to the pyramid that's over there on Mars was exactly like the distance of half the speed of light, or some kind of
it was like half the speed. It was like anomaly. A specific anomaly.
But once you started adding up all the variables, there were so many of them that were so precise that he was like, "How is that possible? It doesn't make any fucking sense."
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense how people that lived back then would have gotten this math correctly.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way they would have gotten so many anomalies just throwing something together.
Well, the ancient megalithic sites on this planet all line up. They're almost perfectly mathematically lined up on
and they're all in specific places that
Machu Picchu in Peru and
have you ever
Giza, they all line up on the same 33-degree line that connects. And then when you start dissecting and doing, it doesn't even take that much math to start dissecting and taking it apart. You start adding together, and it all evens out perfectly to the speed of light.
Yeah, it does. It all, or the dimensions of the pyramid equal the diameter or the circumference of the Earth and stuff. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that's what this dude did. He measured how far is it from that pyramid on Mars to the pyramids of Giza, and it was like exactly half the speed of light or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, that's weird. Those numbers are almost impossible to come up with that would just It doesn't.
That you just stumble upon.
You eventually get to the point after doing so many numbers and after adding up so many things that
they had to know something.
There's something going on there.
Yeah, there's no way they just stumbled upon all this accidentally.
No, it's not. There's too many things coming that are math. That's the only thing that would survive time is math.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to send a message in a bottle, which is probably what these sites are, is a message in the bottle, you would do it through math, and you would do it by building them out of granite and andesite, which are two of the hardest stones. They last. Everything you see around you in 1,000 years, if we just disappeared right now,
it would turn back to
be gone.
Yeah,
dude, a car in 100 years, a car is almost rusted to the point where it's back into the ground. In 100 years, in 1,000 years, you're not even going to know that car existed. Same with all these materials that we use for building and construction. The only thing that'll survive time is like a mountain, and you basically have to carve that out of granite and andesite. Very
crazy, right?
Yeah, and
that's so crazy how, like, if they were, let's just say they are, like, that they were smart enough to say, we're coming to an end, and we want to leave something just in case we pick back up one day.
Well, I mean,
and eventually they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you still got people like I heard the front of the Sphinx used to look like something else.
Yeah, and the water erosion on there. Graham Hancock is the guy that wrote Fingerprints of the Gods.
Yeah, I was going to bring up, like, Bibliotheca.
Yeah.
Like that little underground site that they... I don't know how to say it. Yeah.
Gobekli Tepe.
Gobekli
Tepe. Yeah, I think I'm saying it right.
I think it does sound correct, yeah. It sounds correct, but it can't come out of my face.
It could be the Coors Light talking.
That's like my Powerade. It's got me a little back of the tap. No, I can't do it. But that was like... it went back like 50,000 years than what we thought humans were or something like that.
Yeah, I think the site is 11,500 years.
It's like the oldest known site on Earth where civilization existed.
Yeah, the problem is you can't carbon date stone. You can only carbon date organic materials. So as they dig this thing up, they carbon date the animals and shells and things that they find, bones, the organic matter that they find as they dig these things up.
You can't do stone?
Nope, you
How
can't,
come?
because it's not organic.
Stone isn't?
No, there's no organic. It's not a living entity. You can only carbon date living entities. Plants.
I could have swore they carbon date like layers of the earth to figure out.
They might
like sedentary and stuff.
They might carbon date the bacteria that they find at those layers, because there's bacteria as you go down. But you can't carbon date the actual stone itself. There's no way to because it's not living. You can't. The process of carbon dating, I don't know the exact process.
I'm not educated on the whole process of how they carbon date, and I know they have to take the I've watched the video, but right now my brain can't process that. Like, I'm not smart enough to digest everything that it's telling me.
Yeah, there's whole entire courses and 8-year degrees in it, how to carbon date.
Yo, I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, isn't it weird how... I know whenever I was in high school, like whenever teachers would try to teach me things, as soon as they would start talking, like I would zone out or something, but I just chalked it up to like I'm not good at learning or whatever. And then as soon as I got out of high school, out of college and stuff, like I stopped trying to go to college. I was like, I'm really good at learning things now. Like, I feel like I absorb energy or information way easier than what I did when I was in school.
You do,
and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, you have to be interested in what you want to be interested in. And
I feel like I wasn't interested in learning up until, I don't know, started smoking pot, man, I guess. Once I started smoking pot, then that kind of opened the door, and then once I started having psychedelic experiences, that kind of... It kind of threw me out into the ocean and was like, all right, we'll swim back, bro. Like, you got to figure this out.
For sure, dude. And pretty sure Denver just...
They do decriminalize. Yeah.
Which is the path to legalization, I believe.
Oh, yeah, it's first step. Yeah, that's what they do everywhere. They got to decriminalize it, then they get medicinal purposes, and then they go full recreation.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Denver, I feel like that'll be the first place you can buy legalized psilocybin. And I think psilocybin, like I was talking about this on a previous podcast, but I think psilocybin will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think psilocybin is what, like a psilocybin experience kind of made everything make sense and what I had to do to become the best version of myself.
Yeah.
It was on our honeymoon, and we went out into the woods or whatever. And then it felt like it was talking to me, like the mushrooms were talking to me, kind of like, how can you claim to be a conscious person who thinks you know what's going on around you, you know what I'm saying, and you're elevated higher than what you were, but you can't take care of your body and stuff like this, you know what I mean? Are you really doing things to the best of your abilities?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of just made me look at my life and accept it, and as soon as I accepted, like, what I am, then it kind of said, but you could be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, it forces introspection. It forces it. Yeah.
And since that day, I've always had like two voices in my head, like the one that's always comforting me, telling me trying to make excuses, and then the one that's telling me that what needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of therapists that are now finding therapeutic value in hallucinogens.
Yeah. I heard ecstasy helps with PTSD a lot, like a lot of soldiers.
Yeah.
It helps them ease the symptoms of PTSD.
Yeah.
I feel like I suffer from like really bad anxiety and stuff like that and depression.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I played football for so long. Because now, like, when I first started playing football, there was no studies or anything on it or whatever. It wasn't until after I stopped playing football where all these studies came out. But they say like 75 to 80% of kids who play at any level have some form of CTE. Yeah. So that means I have basically a brain disease, I think. Most likely I have a brain disease. I don't want to get diagnosed with it because I don't want it to...
the stigmatism of it.
Yeah, I don't want the stigmatism behind it either.
Yeah.
But I could see how, like, if I don't medicate or something like that, like if I go weeks without medicating, I could see how my attitude changes and how I can get irritated with things, and I have really bad anxiety a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I looked up, like, symptoms of CTE, and it's, like, anxiety and depression and mood swings and stuff like that. And it kind of sucks, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, our brains are fragile instruments.
Oh, yeah.
And when you blunt force
and that's why
them...
And that's why I try to, like, microdose with, like, psilocybin, because I feel like... I know psilocybin has been proven to help with, like, boosting visual cortex. It heightens sex drive. And it shows that it rewires the way your brain... functions.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's working, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, it feels like what I should be doing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like something that needs to be done. And at the very least, it didn't do anything and I still had like brain disease or whatever.
It's like revolution, dude. Feels like life is taking over. It feels like it's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's
I'm just giving my best out here.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, is just do what you think is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do your best.
Yeah, that's all you can do. But, yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think there's a lot of therapeutic value. There's a guy named Dr. Andrew Weil who I got into in around 2000 when I was living out in Arizona. And really smart dude. Works as a medical doctor and has a degree in, medicine, but then he has another degree in botany and plants. And this dude's a big ayahuasca fan. And he's a big, psilocybin fan.
That's the mother medicine, ayahuasca.
Well, there's, how is it possible that you can ingest something like that and then walk across hot coals and not get your feet burned? Wow. How does your mind...
Wait, so he was on ayahuasca whenever he did the hot coal thing? He didn't,
but he sat there and he wrote a book about it and watched people walk across these hot coals and basically documented it.
So he didn't do it, he just observed people doing these sessions.
And I believe Andrew Weil went to Harvard. Pretty sure he went to Harvard. I mean, smart dude, man. His brain, dude, his head's like this big.
Yeah.
The dude is super smart. His brain is... Yeah. And then when you read his work, you can just follow how smart this guy is by reading. And you're like, dude, man.
So he observed ayahuasca sessions.
Yes, and people could literally...
How many?
Mind over mind. Oh, I don't know.
Because I know most ayahuasca sessions are like 3 to like 12. Some people have...
Yeah.
It's more than one most of the time.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the like therapies. And I was telling my mom about this, like...
Yeah. It probably
ayahuasca sessions.
It certainly has benefit.
And
in controlled settings that are very
like in
monitored.
Peru and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Where these they've been doing it for thousands of years.
And that's where he did his studies. Well, probably Brazil and the Amazon rainforest. I think, if I remember right, if I read that, I think it was somewhere in the Amazon. But he's made many trips down there, and he definitely is saying that there's a lot of medical value. There's just so much we don't know. It's mind over matter, and we can't figure out how to tap that exactly.
It's because a lot of people, the stigmatism that gets tossed in with the psychedelic experience. I think the psychedelic experience is like the most sought out experience that humans crave because the psychedelic experience is just raw consciousness.
Yeah.
And consciousness can be observed anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
In multiple ways. So I look at like how most psychedelic experiences can decrease somebody's like what is it called whenever somebody gets clean for a little bit and then relapse. Yeah, the relapse rates go way down.
Yeah.
It just helps addiction. It just helps people deal with trauma that maybe they didn't get over whenever they were a kid.
Yeah.
Because you look at people like, I know I look at people as like children still, because I have children now.
Yeah.
So now I see people as just kids that are never a finished product. You look at an adult like they're a finished product or something.
Right.
But everybody's just children in their own little, wherever they are in their race of learning. You can't judge somebody for what they don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That's why I don't judge anybody, man. I mean, and I can't tell everybody to have a psychedelic experience because some people just can't handle feeling like they're not in control of what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I tell people, it's like a lot of therapy in like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot about yourself.
There was a guy that I worked with a long time ago in Corpus Christi. I was waiting tables and bartending. And this guy I worked with, his wife died. She got some kind of cancer very young, like 22, 23.
Man.
And she passed away. But in the hospital while she was dying, the doctor actually recommended that they get ecstasy and take it together right there in the hospital. And he wasn't going to make a big deal about it. He just said, hey, it's easy to get. Just you go to the street, but you'll get it. And they both took it. And he said that was the best possible thing. They got everything off their chest they needed to.
It breaks down barriers
that's what it does.
Your this ego that you create all day, every day, this person that you want people to view you as.
Yeah.
It breaks down that barrier and just lets you be real for a little bit.
Yeah. Because
you're not thinking in the past, you're not thinking in the future, anticipating anything. You're just living in this raw moment.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And that's hard for a lot of people to do because it's not what, I don't know, that's just, people operate on patterns, you know? And some people just never learn I didn't learn how to like live in the moment, you know? Especially going through school, always waiting to get home, you know what I'm saying? And then now I'm in work and I can't wait to get home and I can't wait till time passes. And it sucks because I know like, from the moment I was born, I had like a clock.
Yep.
And it's always ticking. And I don't know how much time I have. And I hate that I have to spend some of my time doing something that I don't want to be doing, you know? It's a real drag. It like gets me emotional like whenever I think about it. Because I know how I feel about it. And then I see everybody else that is also going through it.
Yeah.
And I know some people are happy about it, you know what I'm saying? I see some people that are sad about it. I just feel for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Yeah.
It sucks that people have to spend their time never getting to be them. A lot of people go through their whole life never getting to be them.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is. It's really sad. And we're really fortunate to even be living in this country at this time.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, can you imagine living in China or India right now? Or
North Korea,
Russia,
yeah.
North Korea, dude.
I think North Korea would be one. Or imagine being like a child soldier, like you're 8 years old in Africa.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they take out all the village and then they take all the 10-year-olds or around your age.
Genocide.
And then they make you go fight these grown men.
Yeah. It's rough.
Life is rough, man.
Dude, and then if you've ever been to these other countries, you quickly come to the realization, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I got it good.
We got it good over here. And even good, it can never be... I hate that, like, because that's always been, like, what people revert to. Like, yeah, it's, like...
It could be way better.
It could be... Yeah, it could be way better.
Way better.
It could be way better than what it is. And it could be that much better for everybody.
On the planet.
It could be so more efficient than what it is.
Just the process, and I think we're moving in the right direction.
I feel like we're barely... I feel like technology is going to hop us out of this... this primal monkey form into like getting all Dragon Ball Z, but our new form, you know what I'm saying? We've already merged.
Yeah.
And eventually it's gonna...
Yeah, like on the Joe Rogan podcast, basically we are cyborgs because the phone is an extension.
Think of how much smarter you are with a phone. I was talking to Desmond about this because we gave her a ride earlier.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how she doesn't watch the podcast because she doesn't understand what I'm talking about. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, have you ever watched one? And she was like, well, no, I haven't watched one. And I was like, well, you have to watch one. And if it comes to a word where you don't understand, pause it, ask Siri, what does this word mean? And then she'll tell you what the word means, and then you can continue.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to be uneducated in this day of age.
Yeah,
you know? Because she was like, well, you just talk like you know things and stuff. And I was like, it's so easy to know things. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you want to know things?
Right at your fingertips.
I feel like that's what, I don't know, like, I see how curious Hendrix is.
Yeah.
It's just a craving to know things and then go experience things. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
I want to experience things and I want to know as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I know if I know everything, everything's going to be boring.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. But there's so much to know, I don't think I'll ever know it.
No. The math involved in that's astronomical.
Like, just think about, like, getting into different dimensions and stuff. Have you ever, like, looked into different dimensions?
Like multiverse?
Multiverse, but do you know, like... I think I read something, because I always said, are dimensions infinite?
Yeah.
But I read something that talked about the dimensions, and it only goes up to like 10.
Yeah, I've heard
and
that.
The 10th dimension is every conceivable outcome that could have came from the Big Bang, and every universe, and every decision that you could have made. It's just Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Anything that can happen will happen. That's Murphy's Law to the max.
Yeah.
And that's the 10th dimension.
Yeah, who knows?
I feel like that's why we get deja vu.
Could be. Yeah. I took my son up to Alaska this last year, where I'm from, and, he kept saying that he had deja vu the whole time. Mm. The whole time we were there. It was really weird. Like, he said it over and over again. I kept looking at him thinking, how is that possible?
Yeah.
That's not possible unless somehow DNA unlocks inside you, maybe?
Well,
or
go ahead.
There's some kind of antenna on the end of our cells that they're just figuring this out in Silicon Valley. Our cells have this little antenna that communicates with we don't know what.
Yeah.
But like our entire consciousness is outside of our body, not inside of our heads that we originally thought it was.
Like your aura.
Yeah. And we're communicating with some kind of a source. There's some source we're communicating with.
I think the source is the 10th dimension. Okay, you know what the 4th dimension is? The 4th dimension's time.
Okay.
So, think of Mario. Mario lives in the 2nd dimension.
Yeah.
So to a 3rd dimension being, he can only move in the 2nd dimension in a straight line.
Right.
Whether it's forward or backwards.
Yeah.
He can never, come towards you or go away from you.
Yeah. There's no depth.
Exactly. So to a 4th dimensional being, the 3rd dimension, us, we can only move in straight lines.
Crazy.
That's why we can only experience time as it's happening this way.
But if you were one
or
dimension
that way,
higher, you'd be able to see the whole...
So exactly, and I think your brain is a radio, and it can tune into different frequencies.
It might not just be the brain. They're finding in Silicon Valley...
Yeah, the cells and stuff.
Because they're
and that makes me think of the 2-slit experiment. Have you ever heard of that?
No, what is that?
The 2-slit experiment basically says... Okay, so what they did was they took like a little board and they put 2 slits in it, and then they fired matter through it.
Yeah.
So let's just pretend it was like water, and then they sent waves through the water. The way that whenever they observed it, whenever it went through the 2 slits, it left like an interference pattern or whatever. So like the points of contact were all scattered out.
Whoa.
Let's say we send light through those 2 slits.
Dude, I have heard of this.
So whenever you pay attention to it, it leaves you'll see the light just right there.
But when you not pay attention...
When you don't try to measure it, it's scattered like it's a wave. Like white light turns into a wave.
So that
means particles move and behave differently whenever you're not looking at them or observing them.
Which is a trip all in its own.
That means me looking at you is affecting the way that your particles are behaving.
Yeah.
And the way you're looking at me.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
it
nuts.
just it makes me think, like, how do we know what anything is going on? You know what I'm saying?
We barely scratch the surface. We don't know shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think just what keeps us going, this thing is the source is from the 10th dimension. It's that light, and when it became aware of everything that could be, it experiences everything that could be.
Yeah, this is like the CPU. You know,
or it could be a matrix. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Or it could just be. Okay, all right. I probably got to bring it to a close.
Dude, now we just got started. No.
All right. We can get another fucking podcast in pretty soon.
All right.
That's cool.
Because this is fun.
Yeah, it's real fun, right? I told you.
I should have taken a bong hit.
I'm telling you, like, I came in, I don't know if y'all saw me shivering, but I was like, fuck, this bong rip got me.
Yeah, that shit makes me cold too. I'm like, why do I get cold after this?
I don't know why I get cold either.
She's like, don't touch me. I'm like...
But shit, bro, it was nice having you on. Can't wait to have you on again.
Definitely.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned for more. Stay high. Stay elevated. Peace.